Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Nishit Kumar with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says there is a huge opportunity for growth, entrepreneurship and employment in Indian energy sector. Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurates work on second phase of Chennai Metro Rail and other infrastructure projects in Tamil Nadu. Recovery rate of COVID-19 improves to 93.67% in the country. Government approves 28 food processing projects of more than 320 crore rupees in 10 states. And India lodges strong protest with Pakistan over planned attack by Jaish-e-Mohammed in Jammu and Kashmir. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the global energy sector is witnessing a sea change due to the current pandemic, and this will create a huge opportunity for growth, entrepreneurship and employment in the Indian energy sector. Delivering the 8th convocation address at Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University, Gandhinagar, through video conferencing, Mr. Modi said that India is marching ahead with the target to reduce the carbon footprint by 30 to 35%.
आज देश अपने कार्बन फुटप्रिंट की 30 से 35% तक कम करने का लक्ष्य लेकर के आगे बढ़ रहा है। दुनिया के सामने जब ये बात लेकर के मैं गया, दुनिया को अचरज था, क्या भारत ये कर सकता है? प्रयास ये है कि इस दशक में अपनी ऊर्जा जरूरतों में नेचुरल गैस की हिस्सेदारी को हम 4 गुना तक बढ़ाएंगे। देश की ऑयल रिफाइनिंग कैपेसिटी को भी आने वाले 5 सालों में करीब 2 गुना करने के लिए काम किया जा रहा है।
The Prime Minister said graduating during the time of global crisis is a big challenge for the young students, but the potential and capabilities of the students are much bigger than the global challenges. He appealed to the young students to transform their sense of responsibility into a sense of opportunity.
मुझे विश्वास है कि आप अपनी स्किल, अपने टैलेंट, अपने प्रोफेशनलिज्म से आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बड़ी ताकत बन के उभरेंगे। आज पीडीपीयू में जुड़े 5 अलग-अलग प्रोजेक्ट्स का भी उद्घाटन और शिलान्यास हुआ है। ये नई सुविधाएं पीडीपीयू को देश के एनर्जी सेक्टर का ही नहीं, बल्कि प्रोफेशनल एजुकेशन, स्किल डेवलपमेंट और स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम का एक अहम सेंटर बनाने वाली है।
The Prime Minister said a special fund has been created for helping the startup ecosystem in the field of energy security.
देश की एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी से जुड़े स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम को मजबूत करने के लिए भी लगातार काम हो रहा है। इस सेक्टर के आप जैसे स्टूडेंट्स और प्रोफेशनल्स के लिए एक विशेष फंड भी बनाया गया है। अगर आपके पास भी कोई आइडिया हो, कोई प्रोडक्ट हो या कोई कंसेप्ट हो जिसे आप इंक्यूबेट करना चाहते हैं, तो ये फंड आपके लिए एक बेहतरीन अवसर भी है, एक सरकार की तरफ से तोहफा भी है।
Mr. Modi said the world has high hopes and expectations from India, and India's hope and expectations are in turn connected with the young students. He said we should not only march ahead, but we should march ahead much faster.
आज भारत में एनर्जी सेक्टर में ग्रोथ की, एंटरप्राइज स्पिरिट की, एम्प्लॉयमेंट की असीम संभावनाएं हैं। यानी आप सभी सही समय पर सही सेक्टर में पहुंचे। इस दशक में सिर्फ ऑयल एंड गैस सेक्टर में ही लाखों करोड़ रुपए का निवेश होने वाला है। इसलिए आपके लिए रिसर्च से लेकर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग तक अवसर ही अवसर है।
Earlier, Prime Minister Modi inaugurated 5 state-of-the-art facilities to mark the 8th convocation of Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University at Gandhinagar today through virtual mode. These include 45 megawatt production of monocrystalline solar photovoltaic panels, set up by GEDA at a cost of 17 crore rupees.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will attend the 15th G20 Summit beginning today. The two-day summit will be chaired by Saudi Arabia, and the theme is Realizing the Opportunities of 21st Century for All. The meeting will be held in a virtual format. The summit is the second G20 leaders meeting this year. The focus of the G20 Summit will be on an exclusive, resilient and sustainable recovery from COVID-19. During the summit, the leaders will discuss pandemic preparedness and the ways and means to restore jobs. Following the telephonic conversation between the Prime Minister and Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, the last G20 Extraordinary Leaders Summit was held in March this year, where the leaders developed a timely understanding among the G20 countries to help contain the spread of COVID-19 pandemic and to forge a global coordinated response. India will enter the G20 Troika along with Saudi Arabia when Italy will take over the presidency of the G20 on the 1st of December this year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone of rural drinking water supply projects in Mirzapur and Sonbhadra districts of Vindhyachal region of Uttar Pradesh tomorrow through video conferencing. The total estimated cost of the projects is over 5,555 crore rupees. The projects are planned to be completed in 24 months. The projects will provide household tap water connections in all rural households of 2,995 villages. It will benefit about 42 lakh population of these districts. Village water and sanitation committees and Pani Samiti have been constituted in all these villages who will shoulder the responsibility of operation and maintenance. During the event, the Prime Minister will interact with Village Water and Sanitation Committee and Pani Samiti members. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will also be present on the occasion.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has said the central government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi is fighting the COVID-19 pandemic resolutely and very effectively. He launched work on various infrastructure projects in Tamil Nadu worth nearly 68,000 crore rupees at a function in Chennai this evening. They include work on the 118-kilometer-long second phase of the metro rail services in Chennai. The 61,843 crore rupee project is aimed at linking many hub centres of the city with modern transport connectivity. In his address, he lauded the state's track record of handling the pandemic situation, saying it tops among all states with a recovery rate of 97%.
पूरा देश और दुनिया कोविड-19 के प्रकोप से लड़ाई कर रहा है। पूरे देश ने सफलतापूर्वक ये महामारी का सामना किया है और आंकड़ों को देखें तो पूरी दुनिया में भारत विकसित देशों से भी बहुत अच्छे तरीके से कोविड-19 का सामना कर पाया है। इसका मुख्य कारण है दुनिया भर के अंदर कोविड-19 के खिलाफ सरकारें लड़ती थी, सरकारी मशीनरी लड़ती थी। यहाँ पर केंद्र सरकार लड़ती थी, राज्य सरकार लड़ती थी और सबसे बड़ी बात 130 करोड़ की जनता कोविड-19 के सामने एकजुट होकर लड़ती थी।
Mr. Amit Shah said the BJP is uprooting dynasty politics in various states in the elections and expressed hope that the record will be repeated in Tamil Nadu as well. His remarks come in the backdrop of the state going for the Assembly general elections in about 6 months. The State Chief Minister and AIADMK co-coordinator Edapadi Palanisamy and Deputy Chief Minister and ruling party coordinator O. Pannirselvam announced in the function that their alliance with the BJP will continue for the Assembly elections as well. With 46,232 new COVID-19 infections, India's total cases touched 90,50,598. With 564 new deaths in the last 24 hours, the death toll has gone up to 1,32,726. The Health Ministry said active cases stand at 4,39,747. Total discharged cases are at 84,78,124. In the past 24 hours, 49,715 people have been discharged. With this, the recovery rate has reached 93.67%. The Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, said total number of samples tested till yesterday was 13,657,808. It includes 10,66,022 samples tested yesterday.
India has crossed yet another landmark in the fight against COVID pandemic by conducting 10,66,022 sample tests in the last 24 hours. This is in line with India's commitment to conduct more than 1 million tests every day and has increased India's total cumulative tests to 13,657,808. The last 1 crore tests were conducted in a span of just 10 days. An average of more than 10 lakh tests conducted daily has ensured that the cumulative positivity rate is sustained at low levels and is presently following a downward trajectory. The cumulative national positivity rate stands at 6.93% today, less than the 7% mark. The daily positivity rate yesterday was just 4.34%. Higher volumes of testing eventually leads to low positivity rate. With a continuous surge in daily cases in European and the American countries, India is taking all precautionary steps to take the trajectory of the disease under control. Centre has advised all states and UTs to ramp up testing in view of the increase in COVID cases in some of the North Indian states. The ICU beds in Delhi have increased by 205 in central government hospitals, Delhi government hospitals and private hospitals following the meeting held by Home Minister Amit Shah to ramp up medical infrastructure for COVID surge. Home Minister said 116 oxygenated beds have been added in central government hospitals and AIIMS. Uttar Pradesh government has issued instructions to carry out survey of private hospitals on same lines as done by multidisciplinary teams set up by the Home Ministry. A total of 125 ventilators from Bharat Electronics Limited has reached Delhi and house-to-house survey has also begun. ICMR has increased the RT-PCR testing capacity from 27,000 tests per day to 37,200 per day on directions of the Home Ministry. Over 30,700 RT-PCR samples were collected in Delhi on 19th of November as compared to 12,055 RT-PCR samples on the 15th of this month.
Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions today said that all guidelines are being followed by Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration to handle the spread of COVID-19. The ministry in a statement said the academy is taking every measure to break the chain of COVID-19 spread in consonance with the guidelines of the Home Ministry and the District Administration Dehradun. All officer trainees who have tested positive have been quarantined in a dedicated COVID care centre. Since the 20th of November, the Academy has conducted more than 162 RT-PCR tests in coordination with district authorities. 57 officer trainees have tested COVID positive at the Academy since yesterday. In Madhya Pradesh, new guidelines have been put in place from today in the most affected cities across the state in order to control the spread of coronavirus. Night curfews have come back in 5 cities including Bhopal and Indore months after unlocking began to resume normal activities. Night curfew will also be imposed in Gwalior, Vidisha and Ratlam. All markets will be closed at 8 p.m. from today in Bhopal. All the merchant organizations have taken this decision with common consent to support administrative steps. The number of COVID-19 cases has recorded a sudden surge in the past few days in the state. 1,700 new corona-infected patients have also been reported today in MP, while 899 patients have been discharged from hospitals after recovering. Maximum 492 patients have been reported in Indore, while 313 patients in Bhopal and 112 patients have been reported in Gwalior. In Maharashtra, even as preparations are underway to reopen schools from Class 9 to Class 12 on the 23rd of November, reports are coming from Pune and Aurangabad, wherein the respective municipal corporations have decided not to reopen the schools in their jurisdiction. The decision by the Pune and Aurangabad municipal corporations come a day after the Mumbai civic body decided to keep the schools shut till the 31st of December. A report.
Although the COVID-19 situation in Maharashtra was improving a few days back, the situation is again becoming worrisome in some of the cities in the state after Diwali. The situation has prompted authorities in various districts to rethink on their decision to reopen schools. Mayor of Pune Muralidhar Mohol said that the civic administration had made all the arrangements to reopen the schools from Monday. But after the spurt in COVID cases since last few days in the city and subsequent warning of second wave issued by the central team, the civic body has decided to shut the schools till 13 December. He said the parents are non-committal to sign the written bond to send their wards to the schools. Similarly, the Aurangabad Municipal Corporation will also keep the schools closed till 3rd January 2021. However, the decision will be reviewed after 20th December. The mandatory health checkup of teachers is being done in the district, and some of the teachers were found corona positive, which increased the worries of the administration. The schools in rural area of Aurangabad will be reopened from November 23rd in a phased manner. Shailesh Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
Meghalaya registered 2 more COVID-19 related deaths today from East Khasi Hills district, tallying the total number of fatalities to 108. A statement from the Directorate of Health Services informed that 117 new COVID-19 cases were also recorded, bringing the number of active cases to 925. Meanwhile, 78 recoveries were also registered today, totaling the number of recovered cases to 10,236. Till date, the number of COVID-19 confirmed cases in Meghalaya stands at 11,269, out of which 10,236 are recovered, 925 active, and 108 deaths. In Nagaland, 66 fresh cases of COVID-19 positive have been reported today, along with one more casualty reported from Kohima. The total caseload in the state now stands at 10,674, while COVID-19 death increased to 51. Health and Family Welfare Minister S. Pangnew Phom, in a tweet, said 51 new cases were detected from Dimapur, 14 in Tyeongsang, and 1 from Kohima.
Kerala continues to report more recoveries than positive cases, as 5,772 new cases of COVID were confirmed today. 6,719 people recovered from the infection in the state. The total active COVID cases in Kerala reduced to 66,856. Meanwhile, 25 deaths were also confirmed due to COVID today, taking the death toll in the state to 2,022. Karnataka Health and Medical Education Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar has informed that starting January, all the government district hospitals in the state will conduct all medical tests free of cost. Inaugurating various facilities in Belagavi Medical College today, he said the district hospitals will be equipped to offer medical tests for free. He also informed that there is a plan to merge health and medical education departments under one banner for better coordination. Speaking about plans to distribute COVID vaccine when they come, the minister informed that the vaccine will be distributed simultaneously in all the districts. In another decision taken by the Health Department, it has been decided to discontinue reserving 50% beds in private hospitals, as the beds in the government hospitals are now available, with decline in COVID cases in the recent days.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says there is a huge opportunity for growth, entrepreneurship and employment in Indian energy sector. 15th G20 Summit chaired by Saudi Arabia begins. Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurates work on second phase of Chennai Metro Rail and other infrastructure projects in Tamil Nadu. Recovery rate of COVID-19 improves to 93.67% in the country. Government approves 28 food processing projects of more than 320 crore rupees in 10 states. And India lodges strong protest with Pakistan over planned attack by Jaish-e-Mohammed in Jammu and Kashmir. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the evening news. The government has approved 28 food processing projects worth over 320 crore rupees. These projects, supported with a grant of over 107 crore rupees by the Ministry of Food Processing Industries, were approved under the scheme for creation and expansion of food processing and preservation capacities in the Interministerial Approval Committee IMAC meeting. These projects, spread over 10 states, are likely to generate employment for nearly 10,000 people. Minister of Food Processing Industries Narendra Singh Tomar chaired the IMAC meeting through video conference to consider projects under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana for necessary grants in aid. Minister of State for Power, New and Renewable Energy R.K. Singh said that the rate of growth of the renewable energy capacity in the country is the highest in the world, and the world has recognized the efforts of India in limiting global warming. Talking exclusively to AIR News, Mr. Singh said transitioning from fossil fuel to green energy is a major step forward, and India is now a leading country in this transition. He said India has not only achieved the goal set as nationally determined contributions under the Paris Climate Agreement, but already crossed it. He said India committed to install 175 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity on the sidelines of the Paris Agreement and pledged in the COP21 that 40% of installed capacity will come from renewable energy by the year 2023.
Our national determined target was that by 2030, 40% of our installed capacity will come from renewables. Renewables meaning wind, solar, hydro. Today, we are one of the fastest growing countries insofar as renewable energy capacity is concerned. If you take the renewable energy capacity which has been installed and which is under installation, it comes to about 1,90,000. Now, which is near about 60% of our total installed capacity, which is 372,000 megawatts. So we have not only achieved the goal which we had set for ourselves to be achieved by 2030.
India has conveyed its strong concern to Pakistan on the terror attack planned by Jaish-e-Mohammed in Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistani Charge d'Affaires was summoned by External Affairs Ministry today, and a strong protest was lodged at the attempted attack. It was demanded that Pakistan desist from its policy of supporting terrorists and terror groups operating from its soil and dismantle the terror infrastructure operated by terrorist outfits to launch attacks in other countries. India reiterated its long-standing demand that Pakistan fulfill its international obligations and bilateral commitments to not allow any territory under its control to be used for terrorism against India in any manner. External Affairs Ministry said in a statement that India is firmly and resolutely committed to take all necessary measures to safeguard its national security in the fight against terrorism. A major terror attack was foiled by Indian security forces in Nagrota, Jammu and Kashmir on the 19th of this month. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Avantipora police in South Kashmir's Pulwama district arrested two terrorist associates of terror outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed today. They have been identified as Bilal Ahmed Chopin, resident of Wagadtral, and Mursaleen Bashir Sheikh, resident of Chatlam Pampor. Further investigation was in progress till the last reports came in. Details are awaited.
Meanwhile, an army soldier attained martyrdom as Pakistani army troops violated ceasefire along the LOC in Noshera sector of Rajori district in the wee hours today. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that the martyred soldier has been identified as Havaldar Patil Sangram Shivaji. The development has come 2 days after 4 heavily armed JEM terrorists were killed in an encounter on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway at Ban Toll Plaza in Nagrota and the outskirts of Jammu. The unprovoked firing from across the LOC in Lam area of Noshera sector took place around 1 a.m., resulting in critical injuries to the martyred Havaldar, who died later. In yet another ceasefire violation, Pak Army troops initiated unprovoked and indiscriminate firing with small arms and heavy mortar shelling along the LOC in Degwar, Malti and Dalan sectors of Poonch district in the evening today. PRO Defence Colonel Davinder Anand has said that Pak troops initiated unprovoked and indiscriminate firing with small arms and thereafter heavy mortar shelling along the LOC in Degwar, Malti and Dalan sectors of Poonch district in the evening today at about 18:15 hours.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today called upon the world community to come together to isolate nations that sponsor terrorism and impose sanctions against them. Expressing his concern over the increasing scourge of terrorism, the Vice President appealed to the United Nations to complete the deliberations and adopt India's long-pending proposal of the Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism. He said there is also a need to reform the UN and create a more inclusive and equitable world order. The Vice President was virtually addressing the gathering at an event organized to present Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence 2020 to Sudha Murthy, Chairperson of Infosys Foundation for her philanthropic work by the Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management. Odisha Assembly today witnessed uproarious scenes over the decision of the state government to close down thousands of schools. The second day of the winter session today was marked by multiple adjournments over the issue. Opposition BJP and Congress demanded immediate withdrawal of the decision of the state government to close about 14,000 schools in the state.
Even as pandemonium prevailed during the major part of the sitting today, the Speaker called an all-party meeting to resolve the standoff before adjourning the House till tomorrow. The matter will now be taken up for a detailed discussion in the House tomorrow as agreed upon in the all-party meeting. The opposition members were agitating against the decision of the BJP-led government to shut down about 14,000 primary-level schools in the rural areas due to low attendance. On the other hand, the School and Mass Education Minister, talking to media outside the House, clarified that the process of closing down a total of 7,772 primary and upper primary schools only have been initiated. He said these schools will be merged with the nearby schools to improve the quality of education. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Union Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel Minister Dharmendra Pradhan today chaired a review meeting of the Sagarmala projects in Odisha. It was revealed at the meeting that out of the total of 46 Sagarmala projects, 14 projects worth more than 5,000 crore rupees have already been completed. The rest 22 are under implementation, while 10 projects are being developed.
Karnataka State Congress President D.K. Shivakumar has informed that CBI has issued summons to him to appear before them with reference to the money laundering case. Speaking to media persons in Bengaluru today, he said that CBI sleuths had visited his office on November the 19th, but since he was busy with his daughter's engagement, the summons were issued to him to appear before them on November the 23rd. He said that he had sought permission to appear on November the 25th. In October, CBI had conducted raids at D.K. Shivakumar's 14 properties in Karnataka, Mumbai and New Delhi. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Dr. Nitesh of Safdarjung Hospital will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free telephone number 1-800-115767 and also on telephone number 011-233-14444. You can also post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. The program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. In Srinagar, sky will be partly cloudy. Temperature will hover between -1 and 11 degrees Celsius. In Jammu, lower level of temperature will be 9 degrees Celsius, while the upper level will be around 23 degrees. The city will have cloudy sky. In Leh, sky will be partly cloudy. The minimum temperature will be -10 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 5 degrees. In Gilgit, the sky will be partly cloudy with temperature hovering between -3 degrees and 13 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad is likely to have cloudy sky. Temperature will move from 4 to 17 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 9 and 24 degrees Celsius with mainly clear sky. Chandigarh will have mainly clear sky. Temperature is likely to move from 8 to 24 degrees Celsius. The national capital will have fog in the morning and cloudy sky later with temperature varying between 7 and 24 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have clear sky and the temperature will vary between 22 and 33 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 24 and 31 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is likely to have partly cloudy sky. City will observe minimum temperature of 17 degrees Celsius and the maximum of 28 degrees. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature will be 19 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 32 degrees. City will have partly cloudy sky with haze. Ahmedabad will witness a clear sky. Minimum temperature will be 16 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 31 degrees.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says there is a huge opportunity for growth, entrepreneurship and employment in Indian energy sector. 15th G20 Summit chaired by Saudi Arabia begins. Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurates work on second phase of Chennai Metro Rail and other infrastructure projects in Tamil Nadu. Recovery rate of COVID-19 improves to 93.67% in the country. Government approves 28 food processing projects of more than 320 crore rupees in 10 states. and India lodges strong protest with Pakistan over planned attack by Jaish-e-Mohammed in Jammu and Kashmir. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.